So today we're going to talk about what are externalities in the economic daily life. So first, to have a look about it, externalities exists when the economic members do not pay all of the costs of their actions. So if we have two members in the economic system, for example, a buyer and a seller, and they do not calculate into their sales and into their costs the third parties. So the third parties are the parties which suffer the most. So let's make it a bit more clear with the first example. I have two examples. I'll show you the first one. So the first example is a classic one. That's a typical normal flight company like British Airways, and you, as a normal customer, is going to that flight company to book a flight, for example, from London to Paris, and then you pay for that trip and for their costs plus profit. So you pay them a price, let's say £100, and then therefore you get this trip. However, third parties involving people who are living next to the airports in London and Paris, people who suffer from air pollution, are not included into that price from the company. So these this is a classical example of externalities. Then with a second example, for example, your friend gives you a lift and he only charges you for fuel. So you pay him for the fuel and he's driving you to the sports center or wherever. However, he's not charging you for his tires, for the loss of his car value for every minute he's driving it and for every mile he's driving it. And he's even not charging you for his own time. So therefore, this is again an externality because you only pay for the fuel, and this is a much cheaper price than it would be realistically, and therefore it's an externality because you pay less than you should pay. So to complete everything again and to recap everything, these extra costs affect third parties, which are not included in the transaction between two parties rather than the agents themselves. So the third parties are not included in the transaction between the two parties, and that's why they suffer, because you as a person paid for the trip, so you get the trip back. You don't suffer at anything because you paid for everything. However, parties who are not involved in the transaction are the ones who suffer. I hope I made it quite clear and you understood everything. And yeah, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you back very soon.